What is going on, guys? My name is Bradley with DoublySports, bringing you a brand new episode of our Sleepers, Studs, and Stacks. Now, this one's going to be for Week 10 of the NFL season, and we're going to dive into a whole lot of information, but first I got to say thank you. Thank you for your continued support. I'm sorry that I wasn't here for Week 9. If you follow me on Patreon or on Facebook, facebook.com/DoublySports, you know I opened up a little bit, had a lot of things happen in my personal life, and a lot more things happen at work. So unfortunately, we weren't able to put together a video. I did put up a write-up for those over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/DoublySports. I'm never going to let you down because you go above and beyond in support of the channel. And for that, I cannot say thank you enough. So thank you so much to all of our patrons out there. I really do appreciate it. Our sleepers were an absolute smash. We'll get into that in a second. But I wanted to say thank you for your continued support. Thank you for coming back for Week 10. Please drop a like if you're coming back. And if you're here for the first time, drop a comment below and smash that like button if you do enjoy the content. Yeah, I said smash that like button because I'm one of those douchebags. In this week's video, we're going to talk about, obviously, those sleepers, our studs, our favorite plays that are expensive, and the stacks. These are three-player builds that I think you need to get into your lineup. Last week, we talked about the Falcons and the Broncos being two of our favorite stacks, and that Broncos one was absolute dynamite. The cheapest quarterback-wide receiver combination that was on the slate, and we nailed it. So, guys, congratulations. My man Rodney, he talked about it because we did. We put it out on Patreon first, so Week 9, another banger for the fellas. You got that right, man. 182 points on Draftkings. Sleepers were a smash. Some of the ones that he played, Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy, Christian McCaffrey, he had in his lineup, Dalvin Cook, James Conner, he threw down there at the end, who didn't really have that great of a day, Mike Williams, Mooney from Chicago, Hayden Hurst, and the Arizona Cardinals defense. I gave all of these guys in our write-up that we put out on Patreon and part of our player pool. And to be transparent, as always, I'm not going to be one of these guys that tells you, oh, I was the only person who, shut up, man, I can't, do you know who I'm talking, like, there's one guy who's like, I told you about this guy 17 weeks ago. Oh, man. Anyways, the bad. 0-5 in our best bets. Yeah, 0 for 5. I hope everyone faded me on our best bets. We're still 21-19-1 on the season, so we're still a little positive. But we're going to get back on the winning ways. 5-0 week incoming. Our sleepers. These are those low-priced guys that I think you have to get into your lineup in order to have success and afford those high-end guys like the Devontae Adams, like the Dalvin Cooks, like the Christian McCaffreys that we know you need to get into our lineups to win. I only play 1 or 2 lineups. I play very few lineups going up against people that have 150, so I have to find the best bargain for me. I like volume and I like consistency, someone that I know is going to have a very high floor. Some people will absolutely pop off, and I'm not going to be on them. I want the guy that's going to get me the guaranteed 2.5 to 3 times points per value. 4 times is amazing, and you're going to find that like you did a few weeks ago with Chase Claypool. Hopefully we find some of that here. Derek Carr, $5,400 or $5,500 going up against Denver. Excuse me for writing Cleveland on here. 20 DraftKings points on average, over 300 yards in 2 of his last 5 games, and thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in every game except 1. Now going up against that Denver Broncos defense, he should have himself a very nice day. Mike Davis at $4,000. Yeah, minimum value for a starting running back for a team that uses the running back more than any other team in the league. We say this every single time Mike Davis was on the slate as the starter. Okay, it's not like I'm breaking news here, guys. Mike Davis, everyone's going to be all over Mike Davis at $4,000 against the Buccaneers. This is going to be a statement game for the Buccaneers, who have the #1 rush defense. I believe they are number 2 in turnovers this year, and number 4 in yards allowed overall. This defense is a very good defense. If you think you're going to put in Mike Davis and you are expecting 24 to 30 points, I think you are very wrong. He is a great play if you are in a pinch for $4,000. There's some guys around the 5,000 mark that I like even more. I think Mike Davis is a confident 10 to 15 points. Because he does get targets out of the backfield. He gets receptions, which is always good, especially in DraftKings, which is PPR. But I don't see him exceeding 15 points in this one. Just because that Tampa Bay defensive front 7 is so darn good, and they need to make a statement after being embarrassed by the New Orleans Saints. I love the play at 4,000, but I know everyone is going to be on him. I'm assuming 60% ownership, probably around 50% ownership for Mike Davis this week. Leonard Fournette at 5,500 in that same game. only if we can 100% confidently say that he is going to get the biggest amount of snap shares. Now, he has each of the last 3 weeks out-snapped Ronald Jones. I think that's going to continue. He saw, I believe, 6 targets last game, only 1 handoff, but you saw how that game went against New Orleans. There's no reason to run the ball when you're down by 30 points. Leonard Fournette, 5,500. Carolina, they're atrocious against the run. Ronald Jones, obviously going to be fighting him for targets. Whoever you want to do, Carolina is going to be in a bad spot for that one. Duke Johnson in the revenge game against Cleveland Browns. David Johnson out. Duke Johnson, always a pass-catching threat. I like this Texans offense. It's not a very good team. Very similar to the LA Chargers. Not a very good defense. They're losing a lot of games, but they are absolutely putting up points and having a lot of pass attempts. Because Duke Johnson is a pass-catching threat, I like him in this one. Mike Williams against Miami. 5 receptions in 3 of his last 4 games. Really good target share. Miami is allowing 23 targets per game. That is the 3rd most in the NFL. Plus, they had some players go down. I believe Van Noy as well as Christian Wilkins. Both are out because of COVID. That means less pressure is going to be in the face of Justin Herbert, who has seen more pressure than anyone in the league. If you give him time to sit in the pocket, he's going to be doing even more damage. I really like this Chargers stack, but Mike Williams specifically at 5,400 in a great position. T. Higgins at 5,500, they just absolutely want to get him the ball. They're playing from behind in this one. He's getting 8.5 targets per game over the last 5, plus 1 rush attempt per game on average. Now, that doesn't mean a lot statistically because I think it's only gone for 3 yards, but that means they want to get him involved. They know that he is absolutely a playmaker. At $5,500, it's someone that they want to get the hands on, just like Curtis Samuel for Carolina. Some weeks they absolutely pop. This could be one of those weeks for T. Higgins. And you know I got to give you a tight end. Actually, there's 2 tight ends. I'll get to the second one in a second, who I absolutely love. Evan Ingram at $4,500 against Philadelphia. The league worst in DraftKings points given up to tight ends. They're allowing 6 catches per game on average to tight ends, which is a league high. Evan Ingram got 9 targets against the Eagles just a few weeks ago, and the Eagles are absolutely horrible in the red zone against tight ends, allowing, I believe, 1 touchdown per game. More to watch. Antonio Gibson at $5,600, just over that $5,500 price point. Devontae Parker at $5,000, seeing the volume of targets from Tua Tagovailoa so far. Curtis Samuel at $4,900. If they're playing from behind, Curtis Samuel should see a tick in targets, especially with Christian McCaffrey going down. KJ Hamler against Las Vegas. Keep an eye on the health situation for the Denver wide receivers, all right? I believe Jerry Jeudy was dealing with a hamstring issue. Tim Patrick with a hamstring and a knee issue, I think off the top of my head. So just keep an eye on that. If there's only 2 healthy guys, KJ Hamler might be the healthiest option for Drew Lock in a game against a bad Las Vegas Raiders defense. Now this tight end, Tyler Eifert, $2,700 against Green Bay. Jake Luton or Lutton, whatever you want to call him from the Jaguars, they're not a very good offense right now, but he found Tyler Eifert 5 times last game. There's a little bit of comfort there. You always think, what is a quarterback that's been thrown into a bad situation going to do? They're going to look for the easy throws, the screen passes, the short passes to the running backs, and easy throws to the tight end. Tyler Eifert could be in a really good spot against a decent, at best, Green Bay defense. And finally, Tua at $5,600 against the LA Chargers. Now it's our studs. Aaron Jones kicking things off at $7,100. Gotta love the running back that can catch the ball, right? He's got to be one of the best. I'm hoping Green Bay hops ahead early over Jacksonville and he just gets some garbage time handoffs. Jamal Williams looking like he's probably going to suit up for this one, but Aaron Jones should be the workhorse. Keenan Allen, again, underpriced. We say it every single week. I'm getting tired of saying it. I know you're tired of hearing it. Keenan Allen, $7,100, just a high floor guy. You know, he definitely has a high ceiling, but just a high, consistent floor. 21.7 DraftKings points, at least in 3 straight games. Double-digit targets in 6 of 8 games that he's participated in this year. Like I said, high floor. If I'm getting 8 targets minimum, I'm happy. Devontae Adams against Jacksonville. $9,000. We know Devontae Adams is that dude. You don't need me to say more than that. Will Fuller, $6,700 against Cleveland. We've talked about the Browns not being very good already. They allow the 3rd most receptions per game to wide receivers, as well as 1.5 touchdowns on average, specifically to wide receivers. They're only giving up 188 yards per game, but that's not what I'm looking for here. I think Will Fuller is a big play kind of guy. His average scoring line is around 5 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Right? It's 15 to 18 points. But going up against a Browns defense that's really not that good, Will Fuller should exceed that, even if he just hits minimum value 20 points. He's hit 4 times this season. It's average for him, 20 points. At 6,700, you're getting about 3 times that points per $1,000, 3 times the points value. I absolutely love Will Fuller this week. If you want to go up in price point, probably the most expensive wide receiver that I'm going to be putting on my team is Stephon Diggs at 7,500. 21 plus Draftkings points in 3 straight games and averaging 8 targets in each one of those games. But here's where I love him. Arizona has been burnt by the number 1 wide receiver all year long. You know, I've watched this Arizona Cardinals defense. I'm like, oh, they're not that bad. You know, like they're really not that bad. They got Patrick back there, Budda Baker back there. They can make some absolute plays. But they are giving up some monster targets. Check this out. Robbie Anderson, 11 targets. Terry McLaurin, 10 targets. Kenny Golladay, only 7. Jamison Crowder, 10 targets. Amari Cooper, 10 targets. CeeDee Lamb in that same game, 10 targets. A lot of opportunities, and you know Stephon Diggs thrives on getting a lot of targets. Just take chances, man. He is a deep ball threat. Josh Allen, you can't overthrow him in this one. Deshaun Watson at $6,900 against Cleveland. Can you see where I'm going with this Texans offense so far, guys? 300 plus pass yards in 4 of 5 games. 2 touchdowns in at least 2 touchdowns in every single game since week 3. Plus, he has the rushing upside, and the Browns are allowing the 8th most rush attempts by a quarterback per game. To me, that means they can't keep a quarterback contained. I love the rushing upside for Deshaun Watson. They're only giving up 19 rush yards to a quarterback per game this year. So it's not, don't be thinking I'm saying he's going to go out and get 60 yards like a Kyler Murray or Josh Allen can. But the threat is there in the red zone. Cleveland, allowing 38 pass attempts per game. Deshaun Watson, let it rip, son. And finally, I don't love a lot of the high-end running backs. We've been over that. Like, there's a lot of cheap running backs I like, but Chase Edmonds at $6,300. I think he might be the forgotten piece this week. Buffalo is allowing 1 rush touchdown per game and 100 yards per game on average. They started really, really strong this year. Don't get me wrong. This Bills defense is not a slouch. They started really strong. But something's been happening over the last few weeks. They gave up 102 yards to Damian Harris, 161 to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and 114 to Darrell Henderson. Chase Edmonds, with his volume, last week 25 carries. I'm absolutely salivating at the opportunity to put him in my lineup at $6,300. You know they have to be afraid of DeAndre Hopkins. Keep things open for Edmonds for me, boy. And more to watch. Miles Sanders, $6,400 against the Giants. Justin Herbert, $6,600 against a decent Miami Dolphins defense. I think they've been playing better than advertised. I think they come back down to earth this game. And Travis Fulgham, $6,400 against the Giants. Could be Carson Wentz's favorite target. Not sure what to make of that situation, so keep an eye on that. Kareem Hunt, $6,700, pending the Nick Chubb health announcement. He could be in this week. Now, these are our stacks. We've talked about most of these players, but these are the 3-player builds or 2-player builds that you can put into your lineup. A competent floor. Make sure you get those 60 points, at least, from these stacks. Starting things off with the Chargers. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Herbert probably hasn't hit under 20 points all season. Keenan Allen's hit it in like 6 of 8 games. That's 45 to 50 points right there. I think we can get 15 points out of Mike Williams this week. I already talked about my love for him. The Denver Broncos against the Las Vegas Raiders. Because of the wide receiver health, you could get some really cheap options. Drew Lock with KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy would be an absolute banger of a play. If Tim Patrick is healthy, kind of throws a little bit of a wrench into this situation. Maybe some people even want to go Noah Fant. But I think if Hamler and Jeudy are healthy and the only 2 wide receivers, it's a slam dunk of a play for those big tournament plays. And the Houston Texans against Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, Duke Johnson, and Will Fuller, surprisingly cheap this week. Really like this play. And now if you're looking for some defenses, I love to pay down for my defenses. Very rarely do you see me pay up. But the Packers in a really good spot. The Eagles going up against the Giants, also in a really good spot. Danny Dimes averaging 2 turnovers per game. And then finally, the New Orleans Saints against the 49ers, who are just a mess of an offense right now. Saints, $3,000, probably my favorite defensive play. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I tried to keep it around 15 minutes this week. I'm trying to get through these a little bit quicker. If you want more information, want me to go more in depth, don't forget, we are going to be going into our late bloomers report. That comes out Friday for Patreon, patreon.com/DoublySports. We'll give you the late bloomers report, our player pool. If you want to go above and beyond even further, we do put out Bradley's best bets, as well as a little bit of weather information and more. You will get that for free on Facebook, facebook.com/DoublySports, Sunday morning about an hour before kickoff. If you have any other questions, hit me in the comments below. Find me on Twitter @BradMLee. That's my personal. Instagram, my personal, BEE. I'll follow you back. Just let me know you're coming from the video. If you want to talk to the rest of the team, Twitter @DoublySports. And like I said, facebook.com/DoublySports. It really is the best place to get some information. I'm always answering your comments, concerns. So people have been throwing around lineups, trying to get feedback on their lineups from other participants. So I really want you to hop over there and let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching through this episode of Sleeper Studs and Stacks. If you haven't already, thumbs up and like this video. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a release. And as always, I hope the next time that I see you is in the green.